hopefully they're moving towards finishing the house at that point.
If I was gonna throw out a guess, and that's all it would be, is the reason it hasn't been completed is probably for a lack of funding.
Yeah, and that's common.
Right, and so at that point, unless there's some huge windfall to be injected into this would be a long drawn-out process.
Well, you could go right to asking a court for, to knock it down. I mean, if.
But rather than knock it down, wouldn't the prudent thing to be to, if we got control, auction it off to some, I'm sure contractor, developer would buy it and complete the project in a timely manner.
Right, so one of the things, you know, I don't know if it's necessarily built into the draft now, but there's something under the same statute where you can seek a deed and abandonment from the court. So you don't have to go to foreclosure. If you show a couple things that nobody is stepping up, nobody's addressing this, we have delinquent, I don't know if there's delinquent taxes or other things, but you can seek the court to give you a deed and then get the property, and you would then control it and own it at that point and auction it off or whatever. The other way is just to go through the process and then without the deed and abandonment, just end the case, but then continue on to foreclosing on your lien for whatever your costs are. And that's another way to get control of the property. So there are ways that we can ultimately own the property in this process. You know, courts aren't anxious to be just in 3 months giving you the property, but there are ways to get it through this
Because
process.
if you leaned the property and did the board up, and then eventually did say, oh yeah, we're gonna knock it down,
Mhm.
when you added up all those costs to do that, it would exceed the value of the lot by a long shot.
Yep.
And you'd be in the hole.
Right, which is another common problem.
What happened during the Great Recession, when I'm sure there was a lot of houses framed up and left? Did you have any experience with that in villages?
Yeah, we have one community that is very economically challenged, ended up with over 800 vacant properties, and it's very difficult because they don't have the resources to initiate these actions on these, on all that number of properties. So you try to address the worst ones you can. We use deeds and abandonment to get control of them where we could, but you don't want to be in the property ownership business either.
But I'm sure if we got control of it though, we could sell it in an auction.
Okay, yeah.
A month.
Right, when you're just dealing with one, that's a much more
Yeah.
valuable alternative. But, yeah, I mean, because the values had gone so low that all kinds of people just walked away, or these LLCs or corporations dissolved, and it's been very challenging. Cook County created like a land bank organization that kind of helps municipalities get control of land bank, will take control of these, and developers will assign our lien interest to them. But I'm not aware of anything down in Will County that is similar. But we can find out if the county has programs that might assist us in that.
I mean, if we just go through the process, we're kind of talking about where to knock the fourth quarter, that might be another 3 to 5 years down the road before anything ever happened, other than the fact it's a board on.
Right, and then the neighborhood, has to sit there and continue to look at it.
Right.
Look at it in the form that it's in. And, we've solved one problem of, keeping the kids out, but we haven't solved the other problem of, quite a nuisance in the subdivision. And with,
So typically, I mean, if we, let's say he shows up at the hearing, the judge will probably give him, 90 days to board it up or something like that, or 60
Yeah,
days.
board-ups don't take much time.
I know,
Call
but-
somebody on in a week, so the attorney would probably ask for 30.
Yeah, okay, so 30 days, and so if they board it up or we board it up, and then another, what's a reasonable time to go back and say, okay, nothing's been done, we wanna do this injunction for abandonment of property instead of, like I said, I don't wanna spend the money to knock the house down.
Yeah.
So what's the period of time, what do you say, okay, well, it's already been abandoned for 2 years, and while they board it up, well, it's still abandoned.
Right, so if they're before the court, the judge and everybody there will wanna know, what's your long-term
Yeah.
plan here? Is there a money problem, or do you think you can complete the house, how much time do you need? don't know any of that, how that's gonna shake out until you actually get before a court. If they truly have money problems, you know, there's not a great resolution. A lot of time it's,
I mean, can't at that point, if they say, well, I don't really have the money to do it, can't at that point just say, you know, move to your injunction to it, you know, it's abandoned property, you know what I'm saying? Instead of, you know, why should the village have to pay money to?
right, we could try to
board it
work
up?
out, sometimes, try to get these creative solutions where, okay, maybe they're struggling financially and are willing to just deed it to the village.
Right.
Right, and then we can address it however
Right.
we want. So you can work through solutions like that as long as they come to the table.
I guess, so my thoughts on it is, you know, let's try to be aggressive in solving the problem that there's an abandoned house there, not just boarding it up. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, does everybody else kind of agree with that?
Yes.
I mean, because I don't want a boarded up house in my neighborhood, you know, I don't care if it's safe for kids, it's still
Right.
a boarded up house,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So let's be, you know, as aggressive as we can in solving, either get them built, you know, or, you know, said, putting it in auction, somebody else is gonna build it, so,
Yeah, somebody would buy it. I mean,
yeah.
the other thing is on a board up, who dictates the quality of the board up? I mean, do let him do it and then is it?
Right, so one of the things that you would typically do in this is when you're getting the court order, you would request certain materials, I forget what they're called, but ones that are not just plywood, right? There's professional companies that come in and do a good job,
Oh, yeah.
so kind of specify materials and
Would we
quality.
be footing the bill for that or somebody would dictate what would be done?
So if they're before the court and we're asking the court to direct them to do this, and the court's amenable to us saying, you know, here's what it's gonna look like, this is in the middle of a nice residential neighborhood, then it gets in and it's on them. But, yeah, if they're not at the table and you're gonna be boarding it up, maybe, then it is on you, so.
All right,
So it's a balance of how you wanna make sure it looks good, secure.
so, so you need a motion from us to approve the filing of this complaint,
Yep.
basically? Okay.
Make the motion?
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Moved by trustee Ham, second by trustee Parker, to authorize the filing of a complaint for injunction demolition of a relief for 207 North Hickory.
Ham.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Jones.
Yep.
Maravka.
Yes.
March.
Yes. Like I said, I just want to emphasize that we want to be aggressive in dealing with this problem. Try not to let it drag on. Yeah. Okay, so item J was the executive session. We talked about that in open session. There's no press here. And any correspondence, communications, or petitions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Moved by trustee Jones, second by trustee Maravka.
Jones. Jones. Maravka. Yes. March.
Yes.
Sam.
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
Thank you.